Welcome back, Guardians, as we today check out one of the new weapons that came along with Season of the Chosen. This time around we're gonna check the new rocket launcher that not only is amazing, but also, like all the other rocket launchers, has received a 30% damage increase buff. And that, combined with some amazing new perks, makes this a rocket launcher you definitely do not want to miss out on. So today we're gonna take a look at the code Duello. So to start off with, the rocket launcher itself is a high impact frame, meaning it does high damage and is more accurate when you aim down your sights and you're standing still. As for its weapon stats, well, you can see on the screen that we have a fairly decent rocket launcher on our hands. Stability, handling, and blast radius are really high. As a matter of fact, blast radius is almost capped out. Considering this, we have a fairly low reload speed, and we also have a fairly low velocity, and therefore I would argue that focusing on velocity while using auto-loading holster is the way to go for this rocket launcher. And with that being said, let's take a look at the perks, because this is where this weapon shines the most. The first and the second tiers are fairly straightforward, while the third tier has one new Season of Chosen perk called Impulse Amplifier. It massively increases the projectile velocity while increasing reload speed. And it increases the reload speed, making it slower, so this is not really something we're gonna strive for. Instead, we're gonna go with auto-loading holster, because auto-loading holster for PvE is the best perk all around, since you can swap into another weapon and generally do more DPS. What we really want to put our attention to is the final tier, because there are two new amazing perks here that are both really good. Lasting Impression is one of the best new perks for rocket launchers. The rockets attach on impact and detonate after a delay. It also increases the blast radius and damage. However, it is worth noting that Lasting Impression only increases the damage of the actual explosion and not on the hit. Meanwhile, Frenzy deals overall more damage, but has the prerequisite of you having to trigger it. They do kind of considerable damage, both of them. They're both really good. Frenzy does a little more damage, but Lasting Impression is more consistent. So both of these perks are really good. The one isn't really better than the other, although if you're gonna be really picky, then Frenzy is probably gonna do a couple of more percent more damage if you have Frenzy activated. And with that being said, I would then consider, for my personal god tier of this rocket launcher, I would have something that boosts the velocity, considering we already have an amazing amount of blast radius. So to start off with, I would go with Quick Launch, since this both gives us handling and velocity, the two things that we actually want to give this gun more of. Secondly, we're going to go with Impact Casing, because it actually boosts the impact damage of the rocket by roughly 2%. And even though it's not really a lot, it's still enough to justify getting this on your second tier. For the third tier, as already mentioned, we're going to go with Auto-Loading Holster, since it automatically reloads your weapon when you stow it. And finally, I am going to personally go with Lasting Impression, because it's a more consistent perk. It doesn't rely on any setup, it doesn't rely on you triggering the effect of any perks, and it just works. If you feel like you're more comfortable with Frenzy, then going this instead can also be really good. So either Lasting Impression or Frenzy for the last tier. And yeah, that's roughly all there is to talk about when it comes to the choices of this rocket launcher. It's an amazing piece of hardware, and I can guarantee you that if you take this to Deepstone Crypt, you're not gonna have a bad time. This rocket launcher is actually gonna be really good, especially considering the buff it has, and especially considering the new perks. And that is also why I personally love this rocket launcher, because they really feel like they fit the game now. You can actually use it and not be hindered by it doing less damage or being non-meta. Instead, you're gonna have a blast, yeah, pun intended I guess, and you're finally gonna be able to use a couple of cool new rocket launchers. So definitely, if you haven't checked this one out, then I definitely highly recommend that you check it out. And with that being said, I'm going to ask you guys a question, and that is, what do you think about the new rocket launcher? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, then liking the video and subscribing to the channel is much appreciated. And as always, I want to wish you the very best of your day, and I will see you next time. This is TCSpectre, signing off.